Okay, so today we're going to move into finding slope-intercept form from a graph. So we're actually going to find the linear equation from a graph, okay, from a graph. So let's start by just doing a quick review of what we did yesterday. Make sure you've got your scientific calculator open on your computer, and let's fill in this table. And I want you to look for a pattern, okay? As you're solving this, I want you to look for a pattern. See if you see any patterns. I think we'll see maybe one pattern in here that might be interesting. Okay, hit pause. See if you can come up with that table. All right, let's see how you did. So I remember that from yesterday, I was supposed to substitute. So I'm going to make use of my parentheses. So 2 parentheses, I'm going to put in a -4 parentheses plus 3. So that first answer is -5. And then if I go back up there and change that to a -2, I come up with a -1. And then I come up with a 0. And I get a 3. And if I change the 0 to a 1, I get 5. And if I change the 1 to a 3, I come up with 9. So hopefully you came up with those numbers. And hopefully, if you're looking for patterns, you noticed that between these, I added 4. And between these, I added 4. And between these, I added 4. So there is a little bit of a pattern that shows up on linear equations, okay? We'll spend a little bit more time looking at the slope and the pattern in tables here as we move forward. But I want to kind of start taking a look at that right now. All right, so let's start with some vocabulary. So in a linear equation, and when we have a linear equation, it graphs to a straight line, okay? It graphs to a straight line. That is what we're looking at. We're looking at a straight line. So the first form that we need to be familiar with is standard form. Standard form is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are numbers. And we will look at standard form a lot throughout this unit, but today is going to be focused in on slope-intercept form, okay, which is y equals mx plus b. And I'm sure that many of you remember y equals mx plus b from last year or in the past. Now the m, that's my slope, okay? That's my slope. And the y-intercept is my b, okay? And the b stands for the beginning or my starting point. The b is the beginning or the starting point. So that is always the first thing I'm going to look for is my y-intercept, okay? My y-intercept. And then I'm going to find my slope. So slope, if we remember, is the rise over the run, okay? It's how much movement a point has, okay? How much point has. It can be written as rise over run. It can be written as these triangles, which mean change. The change in y over the change in x. We'll see that. And then it's what we're going to be thinking about it as is the up or the down, and then how far right do we go? The up or the down, and then the right, okay? Now with slope, you have to rise before you run, okay? And you have to fall before you crawl. That means we're going to go up or down first before we move to the right. Now, there are 4 different kinds of slope, okay? There are 4 different kinds of slope. We have negative, positive. Now, notice how negative is going down on the right-hand side and positive is going up, okay? And then we have undefined and we have 0. Undefined and 0. So I want to take a minute and I want to watch this video just to kind of get our head wrapped around. Okay, here we go. So let's watch this video. Okay, so I know that was corny, okay, but I think it helps us understand the 4 types of slope, okay? So we have nice negative, so we're going down. We have positive, which is going up. We have the 0, which is our horizontal, so this is a horizontal line. And then we have a vertical line, which is our undefined, okay, where we fall off the cliff. So let's see if we can do some matching here, okay? So I want you to, let's label this number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So these are my options: negative, positive, 0, undefined. So on your notes or on a piece of paper, why don't you hit pause, tell me, what is number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4? What type of slopes are they? Okay, let's see how you did. This one is going down, so it is negative. This one is going up, so it is positive. How about the blue one? That's positive, and the red is negative. So hopefully you came up with negative, positive, negative, and positive on those 4. Okay, how about these guys? What is this kind of slope? That is undefined. Good job. And this one is 0. So that's important. That is important that we make a decision whether or not they're positive or negative, because that will help us. Okay, that will help us. All right, so when we are finding slope from a graph, finding slope from a graph, we have to have 2 exact points. Okay, 2 exact points. So we're going to find 2 points, and we're going to go to the leftmost point, and we're going to go up or down to make a triangle. So I see there's a point here and a point here. I'm going to go up and to the right. Now, the reason I use those 2 points is because they gave them to me, but they are exact points, okay? When we're talking about an exact point, we're talking about something that is in the middle where the 2 lines meet, okay? This point here is not an exact point. I don't really know where that is. It's somewhere between -3 and -4 and -1 and -2. They need to be exact points, okay? Now, finding our slope, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to decide if that's positive or negative. Well, I know that I'm going up, so it's positive. And slope is a fraction, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. So I went up, positive 3. And I went to the right, 1. So that is positive 3 over 1. Okay, positive 3 over 1. And then I'm looking for my y-intercept. And I know that my y-intercept always lies on the y-axis. So where is that line crossing the y-axis? It's crossing at positive 1. Okay, so that equation is y equals 3 over 1 x plus 1, or y equals 3x plus 1. I don't necessarily need this 1 right here, okay? But that does tell me I have to move to the right one. All right, let's see what we can do here. Let's start this one by finding our y-intercept, okay? I'm going to go ahead and highlight our y-axis. So let's find our y-intercept on this axis. So the y-intercept is right here, and that value is positive 2. Okay, that value is positive 2. All right, so I'm going to go to the right, and I'm going to look for an exact point. So this one is not exact, so I can't use that one. This one isn't exact. That's a good point. If I keep going, that's a no, that's a yes. Okay, so I can use either one of those points. It doesn't matter, but I want to always use the smallest. Okay, that'll save me some work. So if I use this triangle, the first thing I need to realize is this is going down. So since it's down, I know that it's negative. So my slope's going to be negative. Here's my fraction. I went down 1, so it's negative 1. And 1, 2, 1, 2. So that slope is negative 1 over 2. So my equation, really what I'm doing is I'm filling in boxes. Okay, so the slope's going to go in the first box. That's negative 1/2. And then what was the second part? Plus 2. And I'm done. Okay, I'm done. Okay, why don't you see if you can figure out your y-intercept and figure out your slope on this one. See if you can find your 2 points. Okay, let's see how you did. Starting at positive 1. I see a second point right here. I'm going up, so I went up 1. 1, 2, that is a 2. So my slope is positive 1 over 2. So my equation is y equals 1/2 x plus 2. Oops, not plus 2, plus 1. Okay, let's see what you can do with these. So find your slopes, find your b's, and write your equation. All right, let's see how you did. Again, we're going to start with finding our b's, our y-intercepts. So in this case, the first point is at 0. And my triangle is here, so I'm going up 1, right 2. So that is positive 1/2. So y equals 1/2 x plus 0, or y equals 1/2 x. Okay, my y-intercept is right there. So that is 1, 2, negative 3. Now I could use this triangle, or I can use this triangle. It doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and use this one. 1, 2. Notice I'm going down. So negative 2 and 1, 2. So I think my slope is negative 2 over 2. But I notice that this is not simplified. Okay, and slope always has to be simplified. So negative 2 divide negative 2 gives me 1. Okay, that gives me 1. So my slope, I can think about it as, sorry, that should be negative 1 because I don't have double negatives. Negative 1 over 1. So negative 1 over 1. So my equation can be negative 1 over 1x minus 3, or it can be y equals negative 1x minus 3, either way. All right, let's see what you can do with these. Why don't you start with number 4, and then I will help you with number 3. Okay, let's see how you did. Let's take a look at our y-intercept this time. Okay, our y-intercept on this problem. So notice how this is in the center. It's not an exact point. So I'm going to estimate that to be 1, 2, 3, negative 3.5. It's in the middle between negative 3 and negative 4. Okay, now to find my slope, I've got a positive 1 and a 2. So positive 1 over 2. So y would equal 1/2 x minus 3.5. All right, now this one's negative. I see that, and I see that my b is a -1. So let's figure out what my slope is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went down minus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope is -5/4. So y is going to equal -5/4 x minus 1. Okay, that's what you're going to be practicing today. So remember, find your y-intercept first, make your triangle, and always simplify your slope, okay? If I was to take a look at -5 divided 4, I notice that that does not change. It stays -5/4. So that's why that did not change from -5/4, okay? All right, let's see what you can do. If you're stuck, ask questions. We're going to practice this more tomorrow.